Hey everybody, it's Andrew. Another special unboxing here today. This is one that I was looking forward to getting into the studio. We're looking at the Lenovo Yoga Slim 7i Aura Edition. Now I got a look at it back in Berlin a couple of weeks ago. Really impressed with it. There's a lot of interesting features that the Aura Edition brings to the table. We'll get into that and more in this video. Now, we're looking at a 15.3-inch IPS display. There is a variant, I think, depending on the region, that will come with an OLED. You're looking at a HDR display. It's going to be pretty amazing in terms of the brightness, from what I understand. A pretty good display nonetheless. Even though it's not OLED, you're going to get the IPS, and you won't have to deal with some of the issues that OLED brings to the table. But looking forward to getting it out of the box. I want to see how it compares to the Slim 7X, running that Snapdragon X Elite that we looked at. So a lot to talk about here today. Now, of course, this is running the Intel Lunar Lake processor. Now, I believe this one is the Core Ultra 7 256V. This will have 16 gigabytes of RAM. It will also have a terabyte of storage. So without further ado, let's get this out of the box. All right, let's put the unit to the side for the moment. Let's just see which power adapter they give us. And we get a pretty compact 65-watt USB Type-C adapter. So we've seen that one before. And of course, we have the unit itself here. And it's in that lunar gray. Now, this is a pretty nice looking device, all metal. Feels really good, of course. And let's see if we could do the one-handed test. Not really. I guess it's got a pretty stiff hinge here. So that's good. That's going to give you the least amount of screen wobble. And then, of course, we get a diagram here of the quick keys, smart modes, function modes, and so forth. It's all there. And right away, it boots up. And this is a 15.3-inch display. It's looking good. It's a touchscreen display. All right. And let's take a look at the display settings here. And the brightness is set to automatic brightness. Let me turn that off. It's all the way up now. 2880 by 1800, 15.3-inch IPS. And as far as the refresh rate, it is set at 60, but we can put it to 120, and that's what we're going to put it on right now. So let's keep the changes. And this is a really, really nice display. So 120 hertz. And that looks really good. So, and it can go as far back as you see here. It's a 180-degree hinge. So that's going to give you a perfect viewing angle each and every time. And here you can see it is a glossy display, but it is a nice display nonetheless. And I can tell you right off the bat, this is going to be bright enough. It's going to be vibrant enough. So again, it looks like it's OLED, but it's not. This is an LCD or IPS panel. And I think this is going to give you a really overall good viewing experience as far as the display is concerned. So looking good so far. Now, a couple of things to note. As you can see here, this is an all-metal design. This is the lunar gray. Very, very premium build. In fact, it might even be a little bit nicer than the Slim 7X that we just saw, although I could be hallucinating. Feels really, really premium. Very little give or flex in terms of the keyboard deck here. So it is looking pretty good. You got two speaker grills there. Pure Sight display. It's a Pure Sight Pro display. And looking really, really good. It says Lenovo Aura Edition. So we took a look at this back at IFA in Berlin a few weeks back, and you tap your phone, and once we get all that set up, you tap your phone, moves all your photos and everything over seamlessly. So we'll have to check all that out, of course, but looking good so far. All right, let's get a measurement of the weight with just the unit alone. You're looking at 1.548 kilograms, and that is 3 pounds, 6.6 ounces. So that is the laptop itself. Now, if we add the power cord and the power charger, you're looking at 4 pounds, 0.7 ounces. And in kilograms, that would be 1.834 kilograms for a total travel weight. And here you can see how thin it is, and it feels pretty light for a 15.3-inch device, of course. Can't quite open it with one finger, as we talked about. Pretty nice altogether. Now, this is the Intel Unison, of course, part of the Intel Aura Edition. Lenovo and Intel worked very closely together, so we'll see how all this is going to work. All right, so let's open Intel Unison. Let's see what that has to do. Okay, so let's get this all set up in terms of that. Let's accept and continue regarding the Unison. So we have to pair our phone. We're going to use my iPhone 15 Pro Max here. Now, tapping the phone brings up all your photos on the phone. You just have to set it up. It's pretty easy and seamless, and so far working out pretty good. I'll talk more about it in the full review. All right, let's take a look at the ports. We'll start off on the left side. You get an HDMI 2.1 port, and next to that is a USB Type-C Thunderbolt 4 port, and that should be full function. We'll test all that out. And a 3.5 millimeter microphone headphone combo jack. Moving over to the right side is the kill switch for the webcam, your power button, a second USB Type-C Thunderbolt 4 port, and a USB Type-A port to round it out. Notably missing, there's no SD card reader, but I would say overall a really good port selection. I like the fact that the two Thunderbolt 4 ports are split up, one on each side. And I would be careful a little bit with that power button on the side. You don't want to accidentally put the laptop to sleep or shut it off. So I don't know if I love the placement. We'll see. But overall, a pretty decent port selection. Now, just as a quick and dirty look at the battery, this is a 70 watt-hour battery, and I'm getting around 15 plus hours so far in the initial testing on here. But of course, I need to do all my testing in the full review to bring you the final numbers. But battery is looking pretty good so far. Really impressive here on this unit. All right, so we're looking at 4 speakers here, quad speakers, 2 woofers, 2 tweeters, Dolby Atmos to help with the spatial audio. Now, on the left, of course, is the Slim 7X running the Snapdragon X Elite, which had pretty nice sound for a 14-inch or 14.5-inch, I should say, laptop. And then, of course, this is a 15.3-inch device, a bigger, slightly bigger device, and that, of course, has the quad speakers. So let's listen to it. Let's see how the speakers are when you compare these two. A quick and dirty test, so let's give it a listen. Now, that was pretty impressive. Very good speakers out of the Slim 7i Aura Edition. Both sounded really good. This sounded a little bit more richer, fuller, and a little bit more real estate here in terms of the overall chassis. So not too surprising, but really good sound. I'm looking forward to testing it out more in the upcoming full review. All right, so far performance is looking pretty good. Of course, less cores means less multi-core performance, but in the overall grand scheme of things, you're not going to really notice it. I don't think for everyday tasks, you'll see a difference. In fact, you'll see better single core, which is what you're going to use for most everyday things, most everyday tasks. Microsoft Office, email, web browsing, all working really well. And of course, this display is absolutely gorgeous. We'll test more of that in the full review. This is going to be a really good laptop to take with you on the go. It's nice in terms of the screen real estate, 15.3 inches, which is obviously going to give you more than the 14-inch. And that's going to be good if you want to be more productive. It has a 16:10 aspect ratio, 2880 by 1800. I love the fact that it does have that variable refresh rate up to 120 hertz, so that's great. Touch layers working great so far. Build is first rate on this. I like the lunar gray. It's going to show not too many fingerprints so far. It's been holding up really well, but of course I have a lot more testing to do. It's got a nicely sized glass touchpad here. It's not a haptic touchpad for those wondering, so pretty good all together here. Of course, I'll have more to say on this very soon, so stay tuned. A full review will be coming on this channel.